Pleased to have as my guest Ed Manzi, who is the chairman and CEO of Fidelity Bank. Welcome, Ed.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, Ed, Fidelity Bank has been around for a little bit of time now, and 125 years, I think it is.
Is it 129 this year?
29,
yeah,
all right.
Getting old.
Oh, there you go.
I don't look bad for 129, all right?
No, but maybe you could give our viewers a little of the history of the bank and how it's grown.
Sure. Yeah, we started in central Massachusetts in 1888. It was really a classic story out of the Wonderful Life series. Local people getting together to help each other, save money and borrow money, and provide for their families. Particularly at a time when the larger banks wouldn't help the regular folks in the city of Fitchburg is where it started. And that, it's kind of a fascinating story, but if you think about it today, 129 years later, the premise of that is still the same. We're a local bank. We're run by local people, helping local people make good decisions about their money. And today it's more, world's more complicated.
Right.
We're a bigger bank. We have 10 offices. We're in Worcester on Shrewsbury Street, Millbury, Paxton, Barry. We're in Princeton, Gardner, Fitchburg, Leominster, and Shirley. So we have central Massachusetts covered well. And today we focus on all things consumer banking, mortgages, and half of our balance sheet is in small business and commercial lending as well. So we've become a full service bank over the years.
And it's someone who has been involved in banking, your entire career. Really kind of interesting kind of phenomenon. We've talked a little bit about this offline. Is that we've seen some of those banks that started with kind of very focused, kind of humble origins, if you will, to become really regional, significant banks. So what was initially in the North County now has grown and has a significant presence throughout Worcester County.
Yeah, I mean, our board and is really very mission purpose focused, and really what we're trying to we exist for one reason, is to help as many people as we can. It's kind of a very holistic mission, trying to help people make good decisions, well-informed decisions about their money that's in their best interest. And so our strategy is to just keep growing, not for the sake of growth. We're not, we don't have stockholders as a mutual bank. We really are trying to make enough money to reinvest back, to help more people, to help the communities that we serve, and help our employees live full lives. And and I think an important distinction I want to make is Fidelity Bank is not affiliated with Fidelity Investments. We get that, sometimes confused, because that's there's a big well-run company not too far from here.
Right.
But we had the name first, so we are a local community bank.
Right. Yeah, that's good. They've got some history, 4 generations, but you got them beat.
Yeah, exactly.
But you mentioned some of the investments back. I mean, a few years back, you made a pretty significant investment on Shrewsbury Street in Worcester, and really continued to add to the economic vibrancy of that street and that region. But when you designed it, it was with kind of a, not your traditional bank branch. You kind of have a product, life design, that you work with customers and how to plan financially and use the bank accordingly.
Yeah, we developed a unique brand promise we call Life Design, and it's not just a slogan or a marketing campaign. It's a way of life where we try to. Our mission says that we want to use our hearts and our heads to help our clients make good decisions. So this Life Design approach is a 5-step process that everyone uses, regardless of whether it's a very $10 million complex commercial deal or someone looking for a car loan, to try to work with them to figure out what they need, what they want, and then use our expertise to give them a couple of options. And it's amazingly powerful. It's a simple concept, but it's really powerful. Particularly if you think back, 8-10 years ago when the crisis was going on, there was a lot of fallout from that, and people looking back said, well, it was because they got bad information or bad advice from people who were really just looking out for their own interests rather than what was in the best interest of the client. So it's not rocket science, but it's very, very important work, and we're privileged. It's a privilege to do this for a living.
Well, I think certainly one of the, I guess, silver linings, if you'd call it that, of the Great Recession is that people are asking. I mean, in the data, they're asking more questions of the people that they do banking with or have financial service relationships with. Transparency has become a big word. So having that kind of candid conversation and understanding the needs of the customers is paramount.
Right, and it's, even though the world is becoming more technology focused and everything has to happen on your phone, that's not mutually exclusive with having a relationship with someone you can trust when the big things happen, right? When you're buying a house or you're starting a business or you're expanding your business, the more complexity involved, the more you need someone you can go to, and we were talking earlier about the different forms of education in our society today. There's not a lot of technical education about how to manage your money, how to make good financial decisions. I have 3 kids that they didn't learn that in school. They learned it from me. So people who are well-educated people come, right? Yeah, exactly. They really do need someone to help them through these complexities. Just like when my car breaks down, I need someone to help me with that because I don't know how to do that.
I heard some data last night that goes to that point. I mean, talking about millennials now, average age, they'll live to 100. So how do you start now planning for that? And when do you want to retire and educating them the different phases in their life?
That's really a good point. And I tell my kids, you're going to have to work a lot longer.
Yeah, no doubt. You talk about investing back in the community, and that's the purpose of the mutual bank. You want to be successful so you can invest back in businesses in various ways. But your leadership brand, your team, you're out in the community, visible, giving back in a variety of different ways as well.
Yeah, it's one thing to give money. I mean, we do give. Last year, we gave about $300,000 of direct cash contributions to lots of different causes, important charitable causes. But you make a good point that the time is sometimes worth more than money. Yeah. And the volunteer work that we do, we encourage our people to get out of the bank and get into the community and serve on boards and help, whether it's a chamber or nonprofits or the local art museum. So it's got a good mix of cultural and social service and commerce kind of activities. So that's what makes the world go around, right?
No, without a doubt. And we the chamber appreciative of your time as a member of the board and somebody who the Fidelity Bank has always been a great supporter of some of our programs. And one of the things that we talk about when companies join our chamber is, yes, we want the active involvement of the chairman, CEO, and the senior leadership team, but any employee of a chamber member business has access to our programs, and there's something for them. Whether it be the Women's Information Network or the Women's Leadership Conference, it could be our chamber seminar series, which we put on topics that are relevant. Could be social media trainings, it could be customer service trainings, and your whole organization very active in the Worcester branch in particular.
Yeah, they really are all in, and I mean that's a testament to you and your team, though. That the quality of the program is really top notch, and the investment we make in time and money, it definitely pays back.
Fidelity Bank has been talk about the trajectory of the region and the growth, and I think there's no doubt there's a lot of momentum taking place. You can see it visibly in the skyline, but you've played a role of the bank in kind of putting together some deals and helping facilitate some of that investment in new construction.
Yeah, it's been really exciting, and almost always on the bigger deals in partnership with local leaders like yourself and Craig Blaze with WBDC. Having I think tens of millions of dollars we have invested in City Square, downtown, Canal District. There's a lot of really cool things going on, and none of it happens without capital. But the combination of government and private and Chamber of Commerce leadership working together to make things like that happen. That's why this momentum. Now you see all the private capital.
Yeah, and I think it's an important point. If we can flesh it out a little bit for our viewers, is that people there's the big banks out there and they're important, but in some of these important projects, whether it be City Square, whether it be some of the work down the Canal District, to have Fidelity Bank and some of similar sized banks step up and kind of pool loan, put together loan pools to help finance some of these deals. They wouldn't happen but for that kind of collaborative leadership among different bank owners, and it's both sides of the political aisle, these extremes that want to bang or bash each other over the head. But the only way you get anything done, that are meaningful, is usually when you have the private sector and government kind of working together and staying in their lanes and kind of helping bring about projects and development.
It's totally true, and I made the joke at the chamber breakfast a few weeks ago that the only thing that brings the two sides of the aisle together is community banking. They're all for community banking, so.
Yeah. But that being said, some challenges, workforce pipeline. Talking to leaders like you in the finance, how do you get more young people into the field and let them know that it's a really meaningful and a rewarding career? The schools that I'm familiar with, when they do their career days, they don't bring community banks in to, have a table. People have to have a more direct pipeline into somebody in their family to know this is an opportunity. And it's really been a great career, and I think that if you enjoy
having your hands on, sort of the lifeblood of America is capitalism and financing the growth of the economy to create jobs and things, but doing it at a local level, it's really it's the most rewarding thing you could do. So if there's any young people watching this show today, we have a, go to fidelitybankonline.com and go to our help wanted section, and even if there's not a position there that looks interesting to you, just send a resume and come on and talk to us. Especially if you like the idea of being young. You talk about millennials. There's a big connection between them and doing good,
right?
Not just for the money. That's exactly what this bank's all about. We need to make money, but money is the means to an end, not an end in and of itself. So it's a very rewarding in that way too.
And really, you mentioned the lifeblood of America. Small business, business growth, and what better way to help someone who's got a dream to start a business, or they have an ongoing business that's successful. They want to take it to the next level, and they're creating jobs, right? Which is key. As you kind of look at, and you and your team talk about the next 149 years, on the horizon. How do you see your role, and how do you plan to kind of grow or think about growth in the region?
Well, we just completed a 10-year strategic plan. So most companies would think, "What are you, crazy, doing a 10-year plan?" But it's not that we can see what's going to happen 10 years from now, but we try to create these pillars of ways to think about the future. And the number one commitment is to continue the life design promise. That's a timeless promise that we're making, that no matter how complex the world's going to get, people are still going to need and want someone they can go to help make, that they can trust about these things. So our near-term plans are to grow 5 to 7% a year organically in the markets that we're in. Starting with our next expansion will be right here in Worcester. So we've had a
stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right.
So we're actively working on that. We have some big branding and marketing communication strategies to help let people know more about this. Because we did some research. When people hear and understand this life design promise, and they say, if that's really true, they're 4 times more likely to switch their bank. So our plan is to continue to bring this throughout Massachusetts.
Great.
Over time.
Well, Ed, thanks for being with us. Appreciate your involvement and Fidelity Bank's commitment on so many different levels in the community, and look forward to having you back, because we're going to talk about that announcement.